Hello students, we're going to be working on TinkerCAD today to start our puzzle parts. So remember, you need to click Login up at the top of the screen and choose Student Accounts and then sign in with Google. So we're going to do the short version of getting your puzzle part started. So I'm going to show you as many shortcuts and tricks as I can. So we're going to click the blue New button and select 3D design. So I'm going to do that. Once it opens up, I'm going to have this big work plane that is basically my graph paper that I'm going to be drawing on. But we need to do a few things first. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to change the name, because TinkerCAD will automatically give your individual designs a really weird name. So you just click on the word up in the top left corner where it has the name, and you're going to change the name. And I want you to have your last name, and then I want you to call it whatever color your puzzle part is. So I'm going to do the blue puzzle part. And then you just hit enter, and it'll remember that that is your name. TinkerCAD is really nice because it will automatically save your design as you go. The next thing we need to do is we need to change the size of that work plane. So I'm going to hide myself down at the bottom here. Actually, I'm just going to move myself over here. All right, so now in the bottom right corner, you're going to find the word settings, and that will let you change the workspace measurements. So I'm going to click one time on the word settings, and I will still want to see the grid. I still want to see shadows. I don't want to change anything else except the bottom half of these settings. For the puzzle, we're going to be measuring everything in inches and fractions of an inch. So instead of millimeters, I need you to change it to inches. And then because your puzzle part is no bigger than 2 1/4 of an inch, we want to change the size of the grid so that your puzzle part looks more appropriate. I would suggest that you highlight the number in the width and change it to 4.0. And when you hit enter, it will remember that that's the 4.0. And then change the length to 4.0. And then if you want it to remember that for every single time that you open up Google Class, or that you open up TinkerCAD, click Make Default. And then when you close this settings window by clicking on the X in the top right corner, it will change your workplace. Now, you can zoom in and out if you have a scroll wheel by just rolling the wheel. There are other ways of zooming in that your teacher can talk to you about if you don't have a scroll wheel. The next really important part for doing the puzzle cube is that we need to change what's called the snap grid. Snap grid means how accurately will it size and move things. And we want to change your snap grid to 1/4 of an inch. So click on that. You will have to redo that every time you start a new design. Even if you've changed the 4" by 4" to your default, you'll still have to change the snap grid to 1/4 of an inch each time. Now, what's really nice is if you see the basics shape menu, there's a whole library of parts. And for the puzzle cube, we're only going to use this one that's called the box. Don't choose the one with the box with the shaded colors in it, because that's for removing material. The colored one is for adding material. And I'm just going to click, and I'm going to drag a box down. And I'm going to put it somewhere on my work plane. And then when I let go, it opens up like that, and it puts the bottom of that shape onto the work plane, which is the grid that is like the graph paper. But it's a 3-dimensional shape already. I can look at my 3-dimensional shape from any direction by going up to this top left corner. This is called the view cube. And if I click and drag the view cube, I can spin my shape from any direction. But when you start spinning it, you might lose track of what is the front. So this home button that looks like a house will bring it back to a home view where you're looking at the front of your object. Just like your isometric and orthographics had a front, you need to design your shape in TinkerCAD with that same front facing towards you. Now, because I'm doing the blue puzzle piece, I actually want to change the color. So I need to make sure that my block has been selected so it has these white handlebars in the corner. If it doesn't have it, you just click on the colored part of your cube to select it. And then I'm going to change the color so it is blue instead. All right. If this box gets in the way when you click on it, you can always click this little triangle to hide the inspector panel window. So now I have my box. I need to make my cube the correct size. And if you notice, when I hover over the corner, it shows that it's 1 by 1. That means it's 1 inch by 1 inch. Our cubes have to be 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. So what you do to change size, the easiest way is to click on one of these white corners. Don't click on the one on the top. That's something different. So I'm going to click on this corner, and then I'm going to go up to where it has the dimensions, and I'm going to change that to 0.75 and then enter. And it automatically resized that part of my block. I need to change that to all of my dimensions. So I'm going to click on this one and change it to 0.75, enter. Now, it might look like it's 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, but if I look at it from the front, it's taller than normal. So I'm going to go back to the home view, and when I click on my block now I'm going to click in the middle on the top, because that's going to let me change the height of the block. And I'm going to click on that dimension and write 0.75, enter. Now I have a block, and I want to do a walk around, so I'm going to spin the cube to make sure that, yep, that looks like a 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch block. I'm going to click home, so I'm back at my main view, and I'm just going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit closer. Your puzzle parts are made out of either 4 or 5 or 6 of these 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch cubes, so you need to make more. I could drag another one in, but there's a shortcut. If I click on my cube and then I go up to the top, and I either select right next to the garbage can where it's called duplicate and repeat, I can click that and it makes a duplicate. Now, you might say, I don't see another one. It's because it stacks the original one right on top, or the copy right on top of the original one. The easiest way to move it is to use the 4 arrows on your keyboard to move it over. So I can move it from side to side, and I can move it from front to back using my keyboards. Now, your puzzle parts have to be touching each other, so I'm going to put that one right next to the first one. And now, if I go in and I click duplicate and repeat again, it remembers where I wanted to move the duplicate to. So now I have 3 duplicate blocks. My puzzle piece doesn't look like that, so I'm going to click on one of my blocks again. And if you noticed, when you have the duplicate and repeat, there's also a keyboard shortcut. If you push the Control and the D button at the same time, that will also make a duplicate. So I'm going to say Control D, and it put that same one right in the same spot. Here it is. But now I need my next piece to stack on top of some of the other ones. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the black cone. And if you click and drag on that black cone, it will tell you how far are you moving it up from the work plane. There's a dimension that shows up. So right now I'm a 1/2 inch up. I need to be 3/4 of an inch up if I want to stack it on top of the other one. So I'm going to move it like that. And once I've made that, I want to do another walk around to make sure that everything lines up like it's supposed to be. So it looks good so far. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit and go back to the home view. I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to go Command D again. And now I need to make it go up even more for my next one. So now I'm 1.5 inches above the work plane. And I can spin around by clicking the view cube to say, yep, is that what my puzzle piece looks like? That looks pretty good. My puzzle piece has one more piece on it. So I'm going to click on that block and I'm going to go Command D or go up to the top and duplicate and repeat. But now, instead of going up, I'm going to drag my block to the side like that. And it might look like my puzzle piece is put together correctly, but when I look around from every angle, you'll see that piece doesn't line up correctly. So that means I have to click on that shape and I need to nudge it by clicking and dragging with my mouse, or I can use the keys on the keyboard to move it so that it looks correct. I'm going to click the view cube, look all the way around. It should look exactly like your plastic puzzle piece. And when you think you're all done, you have to go back to the home view, except I don't want to look at it from the front. I want to make it look like an isometric. So if you notice where the top and the front and the right side come together, if I hold my mouse on that corner, it will rotate my shape no matter where it's facing so that it looks like an isometric. I'll go back to the home view just so I can show you that again. If I go to the corner, now it looks like an isometric, and I have to do a screen capture of this shape. So I'm going to make a screen capture of that shape. Now that I have that screen capture needs to be added into the Google Classroom assignment to say that is exactly what that shape looks like. Now, it automatically saved my work. So I'm done with this part. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the home. So I'm going to go back to TinkerCAD home. And when it gives me back to the home page, I'm going to start a brand new drawing, just like I did, but now it's going to be for my next piece. So I'm going to go New, 3D Design. When it opens it up, now I still have my 4x4 grid, but I'm going to have to go back to the snap grid, change it back to 1/4 of an inch, and now I can bring my next block down, and I can change the sizes to 0.75 and 0.75, and the white dot on the top to 0.75. And now I can say, now I'm ready to do my green puzzle piece, or whatever color your next piece is. Make sure that you remember to change the name, your last name, and the color so that TinkerCAD will automatically remember how your design looks when you're done. If you're partway done with a design and you need to edit it later, all you're going to do is once you log in, you're going to find that piece that you need to change, and you're going to click Tinker This. And when you click Tinker This, it'll open up that same design that you started, and then you can continue, copy, and duplicate. There we go. So now I can continue my next piece at a later date. It automatically saves it. Remember, to log out properly, you do have to go to the 9 TinkerCAD squares to get back to the TinkerCAD dashboard. That's the home page. And then to log out, remember, you always go to the robot guy in the corner and you say log out. Good luck with all of your tinkering.